Okay. Your Honor, the woman in the back is Courtney Shannon. She is a friend of Mr. Davis's. They were homeless advocates, and she would like to speak about Mr. Davis, but I think in the interest of time, I would just allow Mr. Davis to make a statement to the court if he wishes, or the court imposes a sentence.
Absolutely. Thank you. Mr. Davis, is there anything you want to say?
Yes. So, like I said during my testimony, that I was apologetic for what I did. Me saying that I'm just going to go to jail and get released, that was me responding as a victim of an attack.
Kind of keep it moving.
And that's basically what I thought. I never thought I was going to get any criminal mischief charges. Like I said, I went there with my camera to film, and the whole thing that sparked this was the light on my camera. And you know, if you want to impose some jail time, I'll take it, and I will abide by all orders of the court. But it is unconstitutional to impose any restrictions that I go back to City Hall or ask questions to G4S or Ted Wheeler or anyone else. And that's a whole different matter. And if they have a problem, they can go through the court system and try and get a restraining order on me and take me to court that way if they really want. And but the reality is I haven't been going to City Hall a lot already. I used to go there like sometimes up to 5 times a week, whether city council was in session or not. And I used to go to all kinds of county meetings, from the CRC, the COAB, I mean, the Multnomah County Commissioner. I've been to like human rights guys, and I mean, I've been to all the city meetings and all that, you know. And so I've already limited my interactions with the city because, yes, it does cause me a lot of mental issues because I get, you know, I sign up to testify at City Hall 2 months in advance, and I haven't even been there for a few weeks or something, and before I'm even done grabbing my camera gear to film my own testimony, I have G4S crowding around me, and they all admitted that they know that I have PTSD. So obviously there's a personal space issue, and they're getting in my face to gaslight me, and intentionally. And as their testimony showed, there was no attempt at de-escalation whatsoever. There was no attempt at de-escalation in the video, in any of their actions. All they did was escalate things. And, you know, the reality is I just went to City Hall to film a meeting, and this is all what happened. And yes, I could have handled myself better, and in the future I will, even if I do perceive myself to be a victim and that I'm doing nothing wrong by rubbing my blood on the wall. I will, you know, I'm gonna tread a lot more lightly as far as just for my own mental health and my own legal safety and personal safety and all that. But I mean, I've already been excluded from City Hall for like several months, and I'm not really like planning on just going there. And I live in St. John's, and the reality is I don't like to go around following around all these people all the time. They're making it out like I'm, and usually when I am following someone, it's because I randomly bumped into them and I see them and they've had an interaction or they've done me wrong or they're covering up corruption or stuff like, you know, Ted Wheeler, Joanne Hardesty, Nick Fish, Alder Winsky, Gary Dean, and other stuff. I should be able to ask any politician or anyone on the street any question really, and if it's my constitutional right to do so, I should not have my rights curtailed just because they don't like me or they don't like the questions I'm asking. But and it won't do me any good as far as imposing a jail sentence. It's actually probably just gonna hurt my mental health and other stuff, you know. But if that's what you feel the need to do, then I'll take it. But I definitely don't want to be on some extensive probation when I get to, you know, go through the experience of jail if that's what it takes to. So, you know,
Let me ask
I
you-
can deal with a limited amount of restrictions as far as, you know, a year spent probation and do some community service and some jail time possibly, but I don't, and like I said, I will be avoiding City Hall a lot just for my own mental health.
Let me ask you about that, because that is sort of what I'm weighing. The two options I'm weighing is probation, probably somewhere between what Mr. Gilbert has described and what Mr. Zemmel has described, or jail. And the jail would be just a straight jail sentence, no probation or anything like that, because I have to remain aware of the fact that I've got limited resources available to me as far as, you know, what kind of sanction to impose in this case. So if I'm considering probation, I need to know for sure that probation is something that you're going to be willing to do.
Oh, I will.
Okay.
And I'll follow all the terms, whether I think they're constitutional or not, you know. And I can argue that in the court of law or wherever, so, you know. So if you restrict me to go to the City Hall, then that's just something I'll have to deal with, and I can either challenge it or whatever, but I'm not gonna say that's unconstitutional and be back there tomorrow or any of that other stuff. So
I understand.
I will follow orders of the court, but, you know, I might have some problems or legally challenge something if I think.
Yeah, you can do that. Okay.
That's all I got to say anyway. But thanks to whatever.
Thank you, Mr. Davis.
But I would prefer, you know, more probation, community services, or if I do get jail, weekend jail.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Mr. Gilbert, anything else?
No, you're wrong.
All right, I will impose sentence. I'll note that coming in here today, I was leaning toward a jail sentence. That's one of the reasons the deputies are here. I think I've been convinced otherwise by everybody who spoke, primarily by you, Mr. Davis. I'm actually a little bit surprised to hear some of the things that you've said today, pleasantly surprised. I hope that they're sincere. I don't know for sure if they are.
Oh, they are, actually.
Time will tell. It seems like they're sincere. Sometimes people are sincere, when they're facing this moment, and then that kind of falls by the wayside later on. I'm hoping that's not the case here, because I think that I am going to follow everybody's recommendation to me, which is to give you a chance on probation, in the hopes that that's going to be more helpful to you and more helpful to everybody who your behavior has affected in the long run. So I am going to go that route. However, of course, and I know that you're aware of this, if there are probation violations, that will be telling me that probation isn't going to work and that it wasn't a good idea. And if that's the case, the only option that the system allows me as an alternative is jail time. And so that's what we'll be left with. But that's not what I will do today. Instead, I will follow a modification, essentially, of the recommendations of the parties. So I'll begin with count one. It's criminal trespass in the second degree. And I will impose 2 years of bench probation. Conditions of probation will include all of the general conditions, such as obey all laws. I will impose 80 hours of community service as a condition of probation. And let me ask you, Mr. Gilbert and Mr. Davis, how long do you think you would like for Mr. Davis to do community service?
I think a year would be appropriate.
We'll say that is to be completed by 5 p.m. on August 21st, 2020. And then the other thing I'll say, Mr. Davis, about that is that a lot of people, life happens, things come up, and a lot of people have trouble completing some of those conditions on a specific deadline, and we understand that. And we're almost always going to be willing to work with you if something does come up and you need more time. It's just important for you to let us know that ahead of time instead of us having to kind of track you down after the fact and figure out what's going on. So before you leave today, Mr. McFarland will give you contact information for the board so that you can get in touch with us. But you'll just sign up for the community service in a way that Mr. Gilbert will show you how to do, and they'll keep track of your hours and communicate with the board as to when that's finished. I'm also going to order a mental health evaluation and any treatment that's recommended by the evaluator. And let me turn to you again, Mr. Gilbert. How long do you think before Mr. Davis can complete the evaluation?
Just do the pre-test.
I think 30 days is plenty of time to schedule it and hopefully get that completed.
Okay, that sounds good. We'll set the evaluation to be complete by 5 p.m. on September 23rd. That's a Monday of 2019. With regard to the City Hall related provisions, I think that is a tricky matter. I think that's a legally tricky matter. I don't know that it is constitutional to exclude Mr. Davis altogether from City Hall, even as a condition of probation. What I'm going to do instead, I'm not going to exclude him from City Hall. Instead, I'm going to pose as a condition that Mr. Davis is to abide by all directives of City Hall employees and G4S security while at City Hall and within 150 feet of City Hall. We'll specify Portland City Hall. I'm also going to order that Mr. Davis is not to intentionally follow any city employees or G4S employees within 500 feet of City Hall. I can understand a desire for more restrictive conditions than that that the city might have. However, I think that I am constitutionally constrained somewhat in imposing more restrictive conditions. And I also do agree with Mr. Davis that if more restrictive conditions are necessary, there are other legal processes that the city can pursue to obtain those more restrictive conditions. But the conditions that I have described will be the conditions associated with this probation. I'll waive all of the financial obligations on count 1. On count 3, I will impose 2 years of bench probation, and the conditions of probation will be concurrent to the conditions imposed on count 1. And I will waive all of the financial obligations on count 3 as well. Have I overlooked anything, or is there anything else that we should put on the record, Mr. Zephyr, from the state's perspective?
No, nothing.
Mr. Gilbert?
It's not without great hesitation that I say this, but I think it would be wise to qualify the conditions about Mr. Davis going to the city hall in some sense. So while my advice to Mr. Davis would be stay away from City Hall. Do it for your own mental well-being. Do it so there's no question whether you violated this or that or anything. And we don't have to come here for a new case or a probation violation and you end up getting jail time anyway. That would be my advice. That said, the way